We talk about change all the time. People change, societies evolve, technology advances. But have you ever stopped to wonder, does anything ever really change? Or are we just rearranging the same pieces in a different way? Think about it, water turns to ice, but it's still water. A caterpillar becomes a butterfly, but its DNA remains the same. Even the cells in your body replace themselves over time, yet you still feel like you. So here's the question. Is change just an illusion? If everything is always changing, is anything truly new? Or are we just cycling through different forms of the same existence? Change versus transformation. Most of us assume these words mean the same thing, but do they? Change implies modification, while transformation suggests something entirely new emerges. But does that ever really happen? We often say we've changed as people, that the world is different now than it was before. But underneath it all, are we just shifting perspectives rather than actually transforming? The paradox. If everything is always in flux, does anything maintain its identity? If nothing truly transforms, then are we just caught in an endless loop of repetition? Why this matters? This isn't just a philosophical question. It impacts how we see personal growth, history, and even science. If change is real, then progress is possible. If it's an illusion, then maybe we're just fooling ourselves. So let's dig deeper. Philosophy, science, and psychology all have something to say about this paradox. And you might be surprised by what we find. Philosophical perspectives on change. Now let's take a step back and look at how some of the greatest thinkers in history have wrestled with this paradox. Heraclitus, you can't step into the same river twice. Heraclitus believed that everything is in a constant state of flux. The river is always flowing, always changing, so it's never exactly the same river. By this logic, change is the only constant, and transformation is inevitable. Parmenides, change is an illusion. On the other hand, Parmenides argued that true change is impossible. If something truly changed, it would have to become something it never was before, meaning it would cease to be what it was. In his view, what we perceive as change is just a trick of the senses. Nietzsche's eternal recurrence. Are we just repeating ourselves? Nietzsche took a different approach, suggesting that history, ideas, and even personal experiences might just be repeating in endless cycles. If everything we do is destined to repeat in slightly different ways, is that real change? Scientific perspectives on change. Okay, so that's philosophy. But what does science say? Conservation laws in physics. Nothing is ever truly created or destroyed. According to physics, matter and energy can't be created or destroyed, only rearranged. This suggests that change is just a shift in form, not the creation of something new. Example, water can freeze, melt, or evaporate, but its fundamental nature remains the same. Entropy and the second law of thermodynamics, change is inevitable, but is it real? Entropy states that systems tend to move toward disorder over time. In other words, everything must change. But does this mean transformation is happening, or is everything just breaking down into more chaotic forms? Biological evolution, change, or just adaptation? Life evolves, but is that true transformation or just gradual refinement? A species adapts to survive, but its fundamental nature as an organism remains. Even humans, despite all our technological and cultural advancements, are still bound by the same biological instincts that have driven us for millennia. So, what does all of this mean? Are we really changing, or just shifting shapes like a puzzle being rearranged? Next, we'll explore the psychological and social side of change. Do people truly change, or do we just convince ourselves that we do? Stay tuned. Now that we've explored philosophical and scientific viewpoints, let's make this personal. Can people truly change? Do societies genuinely evolve? Or are we just playing out different versions of the same patterns? One, personal change. Can we ever become someone new? We often hear phrases like, "I've changed so much over the years." People never really change. But which one is true? The psychology of identity. Studies in psychology suggest that while we grow and adapt, our core personality traits tend to remain stable over time. The big five personality traits, openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism, are relatively fixed throughout life. So while we can change our habits, perspectives, and behaviors, the essence of who we are may stay the same. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change. On the flip side, neuroscience has proven that the brain is malleable. New experiences, trauma, or intentional effort can reshape the way we think and behave. This suggests that while our personality may not radically transform overnight, we do have the power to shift our thoughts and reactions over time. 2. Social change, progress, or cycles. Let's zoom out to a bigger picture. Do societies genuinely evolve, or do we just recycle the same struggles under different names? History repeating itself. Empires rise and fall. Revolutions happen. New ideologies emerge, only to be replaced by something eerily similar. Ancient Rome collapsed due to political corruption, wealth inequality, and internal conflict. Sound familiar? The same cycles of power, resistance, and reform appear throughout history, making us wonder, are we progressing or just looping through different versions of the same conflicts? Technology and innovation, true progress or just faster cycles? We have smartphones, AI, and space travel, yet human nature remains the same. Wars still happen. Greed, power struggles, and social inequalities persist. Is technology a sign of true transformation or just an acceleration of old patterns? 3. The illusion of change, perception versus reality. So, is real change even possible? Or is change just a shift in perspective? From a personal perspective, what feels like change may just be greater self-awareness rather than true transformation. From a societal standpoint, every era believes it's making groundbreaking progress, but from a distance, history looks like a loop with different costumes. So, if everything is just shifting within limits, what does that mean for how we live our lives? Should we embrace the illusion of change, or does something deeper drive real transformation? In the final part, we'll explore potential answers and resolutions to the paradox of change. So far, we've explored how change appears in philosophy, science, psychology, and society. We've questioned whether anything ever truly transforms, or if everything is just a rearrangement of the same pieces. Now let's attempt to resolve this paradox, or at least make peace with it. 1. Is change just perspective dependent? Maybe the reason this paradox feels so tricky is because change depends on where you're looking from. From the outside, things may look the same. A person may still seem like themselves, even after years of experiences. Society may cycle through similar events, giving the illusion that history repeats itself. From the inside, everything feels different. The person who went through struggle or growth often feels completely transformed. Every generation believes it's experiencing unique progress and new challenges. So maybe real change is subjective. It exists, but only in the eye of the beholder. 2. The butterfly effect. Small changes, big outcomes. Even if change looks subtle, tiny shifts can lead to radical transformation over time. The butterfly effect from chaos theory suggests that even the smallest change in a system can create huge, unpredictable results. A small decision today, choosing to learn a new skill, moving to a new city, can completely alter the trajectory of a person's life. In history, a single invention, a single war, or a single movement can create ripple effects that reshape the world. So while individual changes might seem insignificant, their compounding effects over time create something entirely new. 3. Quantum view. True change happens at the smallest level. Quantum mechanics challenges everything we think we know about reality. At a fundamental level, particles don't just change, they can exist in multiple states at once. Wave function collapse suggests that reality only becomes real when observed, meaning our perception may literally shape the change we see. If reality itself operates on uncertainty and multiple possibilities, perhaps true transformation happens in ways we can't fully measure or perceive. 4. So, what do we do with this? Whether change is an illusion or not, what actually matters is how we experience it. If you believe in change, you're more likely to grow. If you think transformation is possible, you're more likely to take action, evolve, and improve. Even if your core essence remains the same, your actions, choices, and mindset shape your reality. If you believe change is an illusion, you can still find peace in patterns. Recognizing that history repeats itself can help us prepare better for the future. Understanding that our struggles are not unique can make them feel less overwhelming. At the end of the day, maybe the question isn't whether things truly change, but whether the experience of change is what matters most. After diving deep into philosophy, science, psychology, and history, where does that leave us? Can anything ever truly transform, or is change just an illusion? The answer might be both. We might not completely reinvent ourselves, but we evolve in ways that matter. Societies may cycle through history, but each iteration shapes the next. The universe itself may conserve energy, but what we do with that energy defines our reality. So, now I want to hear from you. Do you believe true change is possible? Or are we just shifting perspectives? Let me know in the comments. And if this video made you think, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing for more deep dives like this. Until next time, keep questioning everything.